Hello and welcome back to the Waba channel, and today we'll be talking about my country, Switzerland. Well, it's not really like this in reality, but hey, at least for tourists it is. I wanted in this video to teach you a little bit about Switzerland, but also about French words, expressions, and sentences you can use when you're going to visit my country, obviously when COVID ends. Hopefully soon. Well, the other reason I'm doing this is for all my other French counterparts, you know, the French, the Quebecers, the Belgian, but especially those from Quebec. Because every time I go there, well, they seem to not understand me, but they do it on purpose. And then they start speaking English to me. Obviously, you've probably noticed that I'm actually the biggest Swiss fraud in history, since I haven't lived there since 2013. But before I go on and give you a quick little lesson on French, Swiss words, let's talk a little bit about Switzerland. So here's Switzerland. Well, you can't really see it, but it's right there in the middle of Europe. We're divided in 26 cantons, which you can count as states, if compared to the United States of America. So Switzerland is also divided in 4 different languages: German or Schweizerdeutsch, French or Swiss Romand, Italian or just Swiss Italian, and Romanche, which count only 60,000 people speaking the language. It's also divided in 4 different regions, so you have Swiss Romand, which is the French part of Switzerland, German part of Switzerland, Ticino or Tessin, which is the Italian part, and the Grison. Switzerland is also divided in 3 different main geographic regions. We have the Swiss Alps, the Central Plateau, and the Jura. And we have a lot of water there, lakes, rivers, etc. We're also called the water castle of Europe. We have more water than Canada. Just kidding. Another thing is, what I noticed a lot of people ask me were the CH. What does CH stand for? Well, for example, Canada, you have CAD, USA, you have, well, USA. France, it's FR, and so on. Well, in Switzerland, CH actually stands for the Helvetic Confederation. Helvetic come from Helvetia, or also the Helvetians, which were a Celtic name from a tribe that was in Switzerland back in the day. First of all, I think it's really important for you to know how to pronounce the R sound. Also, whoa, clarification here. Okay, so this is not ch, this is R. It's actually quite different. Just to pronounce the R letter, you say R. But then as soon as you use it in actual words, it becomes R. So, r. Okay, just wanted to make this clear. Anyways, let's carry on. Because, well, obviously, when people are like, oh, you speak French? Baguette. Well, that's not really the way to speak it, obviously. So I'm going to teach you how to use the R sound. Obviously, in English, we don't really have that R sound because we roll our tongue and that sound never comes out, I think, ever. In fact, even in, for example, New Brunswick or some parts in Quebec, well, they actually roll the R's. They don't use it as like us. So for the R, it's very simple. What you want to do is that this is the back of your mouth and this is the back of your tongue. You want them to get them as close as possible and basically vibrate those two. This will make the sound. Or if you're angry or, I don't know, you want to sound like an animal, well, you do the sound. For example, to start again, that is recommencer. So you can hear that it's really subtle. So obviously when you practice, it's recommencer, 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 recommencer. But then you use it a little more slightly. So recommencer, 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 recommencer. What I've noticed a lot is when people learn French as their second language, especially here in Ontario, well, they have the tendency to roll their R's or to do this ha sound, recommencer, recommencer. It's not really rolling, it's I can't even explain it. So anyways, hopefully that helped you a little bit. So now on to a few French Swiss words. So to say hi or hey, it will be ciao. That you can use also to say goodbye, but also to say hi. But in where I come from, to say goodbye is more like chobon. Let's say you're at a restaurant or you want to see something from someone else. In general, in French, you would say, est-ce que je peux voir ce que vous avez? Meanwhile, in French Swiss, well, the only thing you say is m'entrevoir. And well, the other one might answer you, well, faites seulement. Faites seulement is actually very Swiss French. But apparently you could find this in other French part in obviously France. So faites seulement. And well, speaking of foods, well, breakfast, dinner, supper, lunch, all of that, well, the order is quite different than in other francophone countries. So breakfast, for example, in France, translated is petit déjeuner. Meanwhile, in Switzerland, it is the déjeuner. Lunch, which is déjeuner in France, is dîner in Switzerland. And supper is dîner in France, but souper in Switzerland. And obviously, if you go to Switzerland and you want to travel, well, you're gonna need gas, right? Well, gas in normal French will be essence. In Switzerland, you would call it benzine. And well, once you've filled up your vehicle with benzine, then you might go on the road, obviously. And sometimes you will be stopped by this kind of guy. Yeah, those guys are called patrouilleurs. They're actually students helping other students cross the roads safely, and they're paid by the school. And here's one easy one for you English speakers. Well, you have taken the road, you have seen the patrouilleur, well, now you want to park your car, right? So you might ask someone, can I park my car here? In French, normal French, or French, put it that way, you would say, est-ce que je peux garer mon véhicule ici? Meanwhile, in Switzerland, you say, est-ce que je peux parquer ma voiture ici? So you have basically a literal translation. Something typical we say in Switzerland, after asking the person, he might tell you back, well, vous avez meilleur temps de vous parquer là-bas. Meaning, it's in your advantage or in your interest to park somewhere else or over there. Meilleur temps, that's typical Swiss, but apparently some French regions have that, so it's highly debatable. Okay, so now that you know where to park, well, obviously you need to use your blinker or your indicator or your directional light, whatever you call it. Well, in French, well, you would use the word clignotant because it clignote. Meanwhile, in Switzerland, you would use your signophile. J'utilise mon signophile. And then, well, you park, but that individual that helped you out might ask you, but madame, est-ce que vous avez votre disque? Well, you might ask yourself, but what is a disc? Is it a CD player, a disc? Well, like what? Well, actually, this is a disc. It's to show at what time you arrive, and basically you have to put it on the dashboard. Well, anyways, those were some quick ones for you. Obviously, I'll do more, so don't worry too much about it. And quite honestly, it's not like you're going to Switzerland tomorrow, huh? Especially if you're from Canada, because, well, they totally closed up the border for us. So anyways, I hope you enjoyed, and I'll catch you next time on the next video. Bye-bye.